Welcome to Coffee Commerce. My name is Sean Rabbit, and I'm the grandson of a coffee farmer from Guyana, South America. On Coffee Commerce, we talk about the stories behind coffee as they relate to society, culture, and business. In our last episode, we talked about how the Dutch were successful in not only cultivating coffee, but also in the business of exporting coffee, challenging the Ottoman stronghold of Mocha to the Dutch ports on the island of Java. This was not without its challenges, however. Around the time when cultivation in Indonesia was finally flourishing, seeds were brought back to the Hortus Botanicus, or the Botanical Gardens, in Amsterdam, and were successfully cultivated in greenhouses there in 1706. It would be here in 1713 that the first botanical description of the coffee tree, known as Coffea arabica, was made by French botanist Antoine de Jussieu. Today, coffee-loving travelers can come to these gardens to admire the arabica plants that have a direct lineage back to the 1700s. By 1717, the Dutch were well established in the coffee trade. They decided to give a plant from their coffee wealth to King Louis XIV for Paris's Royal Botanical Garden. A little while later, a naval officer named Gabriel Mathieu de Clou was set to leave for the French Caribbean colony of Martinique. De Clou had aspirations of turning Martinique into the next Java, hoping the French could reproduce the success of the Dutch. He asked the king for a clipping of the coffee plants. To de Clou's surprise, permission was promptly denied. Not allowing this to get in the way of his vision, de Clou would implement a plan to, in essence, break into the garden's hothouse in the dark of night and steal a clipping from a coffee plant. He would take this all the way to the Caribbean, enduring pirate-infested waters and rough seas across the Atlantic. Water was rationed on the trip, so de Clou would have to share his water ration with the coffee clipping. In 1718, both the coffee clipping and de Clou would survive, and de Clou would see the coffee planted in Martinique. It was said that over the next 50 years, de Clou's coffee seedling would be the start for some 18 million coffee trees across Latin America. It is quite possible, though, that de Clou was not the first to bring coffee plants to the Caribbean. It was also believed that around this time that the Dutch had brought it over to their colonies in South America. With the success of Indonesia, the Dutch would use their trade routes to the west in their colony Dutch Guyana, which today is called Suriname. In fact, the Dutch had several colonies in South America. Suriname, which would be Dutch today even, and neighboring Guyana, which would become British. Both countries had a presence in coffee. It was the Dutch at the time who dominated international shipping trade. It could be said that a key reason to colonize was to increase their dominant position for the purpose of international shipping trade. Regardless of the story of the French or the Dutch, they would have exploited what was known as the Columbian Exchange, getting its name from Christopher Columbus's voyage to the New World of the Americas in 1492. Trade routes were opened which transported plants, animals, even ideas, and even disease between the old world and the new. Coffee, tea, and chocolate would become popular commodities to be traded along this route. It is also believed that in 1719 that the French stole coffee plants from Dutch Guyana and brought it into another Guyana, this time French Guyana, to cultivate. By 1727, French Guyana was exporting coffee to its neighboring countries in South America. So taken was South America with this beverage and cultivating coffee that it prompted a visit from a neighboring governor to French Guyana, seeking the coffee plant and seeds. It was forbidden to transport coffee plants or seeds outside of the country as per the King of France, similar to what had happened in Mocha under the Ottoman Empire. What happened next is an incredible story, but that is another story for another cup of coffee. Thank you.